Chapter 1191. Sage's Claw of Darkness had the power to absorb one's soul. As long as you were hit, your soul would be damaged. If you got hit by it enough times, your soul would shattered and absorbed by the Claw of Darkness, leading to death. It was no longer a matter of the body's ability to withstand damage. It was damage that was being dealt directly to the soul. The Claw of Darkness was truly a terrifying weapon. The moment he managed to land a hit, it would mean a severe injury. So Sage did not dare to look down on Wilbur either. In just a few short minutes, the two of them had already gone through several exchanges. The whole domain was filled with violent energy and chaotic winds. Paige seemed to be getting impatient after failing to win for a long time. After another teleportation ambush was stopped by Wilbur, he immediately fell back. The two of them were a dozen meters apart from each other and were looking at one another coldly. "Your skills sure are surprising," Paige said with a slight smile. Wilbur said calmly, "Your skills are very average." Wilbur did not bother with any humility. Wilbur's godly training form was a divine skill, so there was no need to describe how amazing it was. Even though Paige's skills were average, when coupled with his ability to teleport, ordinary sanctuary-level combatants would not be able to stand up to him at all. That ability was also incredibly useful for assassins. However, with Wilbur's immense spirit energy, his teleportation was not as useful as they could be. Haha, you're right. It looks like I'll have to reveal a bit of my true skills, Paige smiled and said. Wilbur scoffed again and said, "If you can, then hurry up and do it, otherwise, you might never get the chance." Paige was not angered. Instead, he smiled slightly and lifted the Claw of Darkness in front of his chest. Suddenly, spiritual flames slowly ignited around his body as he said slowly, "Curtain of Darkness." Suddenly, the whole domain started to shake. There was a sudden look of surprise on Wilbur's face. His spirit energy was actually being suppressed. He could not push it out of his body at all. His five senses were all being restricted as well. His sense of hearing, sight, smell, touch, and taste became incredibly weak. He even found it hard to see things just a few meters away. At that moment, Paige suddenly laughed loudly, saying, "No one can even last 3 minutes in the Curtain of Darkness, even those at the Super Sanctuary level are no exception." As he said that, Paige disappeared again. When he appeared again, he was behind Wilbur. The Claw of Darkness had incredibly violent spiritual energy around it, slashing right down at Wilbur's back. The Claw of Darkness was as quick as lightning. Wilbur's movements were much slower. As the Claw of Darkness was about to hit Wilbur's back, he barely managed to raise his halberd against it. With a bang, Wilbur was sent flying, slamming right into the edge of the domain. "No!" Eileen shouted loudly, quickly sending her swords at the domain gate. Shepard shouted loudly and quickly sending her swords at the domain again. Shepard shouted out as well, and the nature longsword surged, unleashing energy that was over 100 meters tall and slashing right at the domain. There were two explosions. Eileen's words were shattered by the explosion. Shepard's terrifying sword energy was shattered by the domain as well. Yet, that massive domain did not budge at all. Two Super Sanctuary level attacks had been rendered completely useless. Eileen and Shepard's expressions turned incredibly serious. Zeke and Chester were just completely dumbfounded. Nancy was incredibly anxious as well, shouting out, "What do we do? What do we do?" Anyone could see that Wilbur was being forced back to an incredible degree.